Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting on Carlisle of being knocked out of the FA Cup, meaning that now this season we've been knocked out. First time of asking in the League Cup, first time of asking in the FA Cup, and it looks like, as much as I don't care about this competition, we're going to be knocked out of the EFL trophy without so much as scoring a goal in that competition either if things don't go our way in the last game. And look, combining that to our poor league form at the minute, being out of every single cup competition, you think of some of the clubs in the past that they've had good cup runs. They're teams that are down at the bottom end of the table. I remember Newport County had a brilliant run one year where they got to play Man City. They did that being like 16th or something in the league that season. I think maybe they're a bit higher, but they weren't a top end side. And look, a good cup run is what a team fighting at the bottom end of the table wants. It's something that Port Vale have gotten. They've got to the quarterfinals of the League Cup. But now as a Carlisle fan, we're going to have to wait another year for any kind of cup competition, and it's disappointing because it's not often we get knocked out at the first round in all three competitions. But look, I absolutely love the FA Cup. I think it's probably the best competition in the world. You get brilliant games like Swindon got beat 7-2 today by a non-league team. You can get brilliant upsets. You can get fantastic games where you've got Horsham, getting a free draw against a good league side in Barnsley, and you can have games every so often where you get a Marine against Tottenham, or you can get a Horsham against a Liverpool or something like that. And it's disappointing that we're now not going to be in that conversation, especially when teams like Barrow around us, geographically, for almost it seems like the third year in a row now where they're having great success in league in cup competitions where we haven't really drawn anybody above a League One level in the last 3 years. The last time I can think of us getting a team above League One was when we played Cardiff in the Cup, and we actually did fairly okay against them, and that kind of sticks to my rule of when teams aren't doing too well in their league, they sometimes have good cup runs, because it was under Stephen Presley and we weren't doing well in the league, but we had that good cup run where we went to Cardiff, we did well there, brought them to a replay at Brunton Park. But it's so disappointing today, especially when you consider the type of goals we've given away. All three, you could argue, are defensive mistakes. And it just reinforces Simpson's point that, yes, he's got his 11 players, but beyond the 11, who are you going to play? Because, look, we have to start with Jack Robinson at left-back today, with Jack Armour being suspended, with Finn Back's injured, meaning Ben Barclay had to come into the back line. Paul Huntington injured, couldn't feature. So we're stuck with Mellish and Lavelle as a centre-back partnership, who I think have done very well, since we've turned into that back four. But with neither of the first-choice full-backs either side, you've got Callum Guy going down with what looked like a fairly significant injury. I'm not going to speculate too much on what it is that's wrong with him until it comes out. But I think it's fair to assume that we're going to be missing him for quite some time. And with Jaden Harris being, in my opinion, wrongfully loaned out, we're now down to the bare bones in midfield again. Look, Dylan McGeer came back and according to the commentary on the radio, he seemed to do okay. But come on, we don't have any backup midfielders now, and we didn't have that when when the last injury happened, and we're now down to what, out of our first choice midfield of Moxon, Guy, and Gibson. We've lost Guy, we've lost Charters. And Harris has been loaned out, so we don't have that backup. And then we've got Dylan McGeer, who, having come back from such a long-term injury, is he going to be able to play 90 minutes every week coming straight? Because he's just going to have to be thrown straight back into the starting 11 and forced to gel with the team around him. And look, it's very rare I criticise Paul Simpson, and I think he's right in his comments that It's nothing tactical, the reasons we're losing at the minute, and it certainly wasn't today, because the tactics are good, we're getting into good areas. What's letting us down is individual quality in the attacking third and individual mistakes at the back. And look, I like Corey Whelan, and I personally think he's a better player than Ben Barkley. If you were to ask me that last season, which one I would like to have kept going into this season, I'd have said maybe Corey Whelan. But look, I think it just shows Ben Barkley probably shouldn't have been signed. I think he hasn't come in and done much at all. When he's played, he's been fairly solid. I think it's his first start today, and he's been arguably at fault for two of the goals. And you just think, well, why has he been brought back in? We've signed him on a permanent deal now, and we've got Corey Whelan. Neither of them are League One quality centre backs, in my opinion. And it goes along with Paul Simpson's comments that we just don't have the squad at the minute. We need some more quality. We need somebody past the first 11 that can come on and impact a game. And look, Paul Simpson says that, and then he insists on changing every single one of his strikers every single game. Like, if Ryan Edmondson and Terry Blade aren't doing well when they're coming on, stop bringing them on. And look, maybe he has to, because I don't think there is an argument that Joe Garner might not be able to do a full 90. And Sean Maguire isn't doing too much either, to be honest. So to have him play every single game, maybe he doesn't even deserve that. But Edmondson just looks lost whenever he comes on the pitch. He hasn't made any impact this season. And look, I was somebody who really liked Edmondson, and I was happy we kept him going at this season, but I really can't see him staying past January. Like, really not at all. And there's a few you can say that about. You can say that about, look, Ben Barkley probably isn't good enough. Corey Whelan probably isn't good enough. Edmondson probably isn't good enough. Plange definitely isn't good enough. You've got Anderson probably going back as well. There's multiple players in this squad that I just don't think are up to League One quality. Robinson today is a young player, so I don't think we should be getting rid of him anytime soon, but probably not good enough. Jaden Harris, another one out on loan that we've got for another year after this. Is he good enough? People certainly don't seem to think so. And you look at the midfield, Dylan McGeoch's been injured for a long time. Yes, he's coming into the team now, and he'll have to sort of make himself, in that squad now. He'll have to try and cement his place and prove that he's good enough. But what we've seen so far is a player that gets injured and then gets injured again. So there needs to be some major recruitments in January, and I think the matter now is the Christmas period is a very busy period, and we're just going to have to try and grind some points out so that we're, not seen as a lost prospect when it comes to January. Because look, you can say all you want about money, but no player's coming to Carlisle if we're 5 points clear of safety. It just doesn't. It's very difficult to recruit players in that position, especially in January, when we're seen as a relegation favourite, because people don't want that in the CVs. Players don't want relegations on the CVs coming into games like this. So you can talk about how players aren't good enough now, but the fact of the matter is we're relying on them now in a very crucial month now, in November and December. The Christmas period is a very, very busy time for football. We just need to rely on them to get us through it until January, when we can bring in some reinforcements with hopefully a bit more money. But look, Paul Simpson's going to have to do his best to get the most out of them players. I think, look, and we've shown some quality. We've beat Bolton. We've played them off the park. We've absolutely battered Burton. Yes, in both of those games, I think we wasted chances and were wasteful at the back. But we've shown that we have the quality to beat teams in this division, and we're going into a run now where I think we've got both Fleetwood and Cheltenham coming up. We've got Charlton, who aren't in good form. We've got Reading, bottom of the league, coming up fairly shortly. We've got some games now, and we can forget about this cup game because nothing you can do about it now. We're out of the cup. They've beat us twice in about 2 weeks. We just need to focus on what's ahead of us now. Some fairly... They're not easy games because Carlisle don't play easy games. But they're games that we're coming into maybe not as far gone underdogs as some of the games we have played this season. Which maybe isn't a good thing because we seem to play better against the best sides in this division. But we're coming into some easier games. Not easy, easier games now. Let's pick up some points. It's weird. Let's stay in and around the 20th position. Try and get up into 19th. Maybe even come out of this into January out of the relegation zone. Drag a few teams back into it. Drag Northampton into it, who aren't playing well. Barra beat them recently, so it can't be that hard. And just get through this Christmas period and hopefully sign some players in January. But yeah, very negative review today, and I think that's probably justified. But thank you for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.